Looks absolutely delicious. Well, Heritage Month is a time to reflect and celebrate on all those things that make us rooted to our origins. And in South Africa, there are so many to explore and learn about. That's why 5FM's Nick Hamman from Hamman Time and the Top 40 embarked on a heritage tour around the country. And he's joining us on the line this morning to tell us more about his highlights. Nick, good morning. Welcome to Expresso.
Good morning, thank you.
It's so awesome. Nick, tell us why, or rather, what was the objective of seeing South Africa's heritage, rather, in this way?
Because it's Tourism Month, it's Heritage Month, and I believe that if you haven't had an opportunity to see and explore this country, I wanted to give that to you on the radio so as that more and more of us realize how lucky we are to be here.
Absolutely. And how valuable was it to have South Africa's listeners suggest places that you should go and see?
Oh man, I mean, the kind of experiences we got just from people suggesting to us where we go, not going on Google, going off the beaten track, allowed us to see some things that I as a travel person, didn't even know existed in this country. Like, for example, a man with 120,000 books inside a small hotel somewhere in Bitsuli where you can just go and disconnect from the world for the weekend. Wow. That kind of stuff, those kind of gems, you would never have had if it weren't for my listeners that called in, that emailed us, that tweeted. It was exceptional.
Now, that was a pretty awesome moment, but what were some of your other highlights on your travel so far?
Highlights for me, definitely going to ancient Mapungubwe. It's old civilization that predates that of Great Zimbabwe. It's pre-colonial society where, one of the hubs of Africa and the world was back in the times of like 1000 AD, and that's not that known about in the history books anymore. And I think that story is really important and powerful. Going down to Groot Mariko and learning how Mampuru is made in that part of the world was also really special. You know, the home of Herman Charles Bosman as well, the stories of Oomskalk Lawrence and etc. And going to the Battle of Isandlwana in Durban, that was ridiculous when we got to see the song or the battle that Impi is about, and follow the battle and a big important part of our history. And those for me are some of the highlights that stand out.
Oh, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. And then finally, Nick, what were some of the most surprising things that you've learned about South Africans along the way?
I think for me it was to see how willing and open everybody was. You know, the nature of the trip meant that very often we weren't able to plan things ahead of time. We weren't able to let people know we were coming to their homes, to their hotels, to their to their places, and everybody, every single person just opened their doors with open arms and took us in and showed us their history, their heritage, their culture, and that to me was something quite remarkable.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, like you said, just going off of the beaten track allows you to discover gems that you might otherwise not have seen.
100%.
Oh, Nick, thank you so much for joining us. We're totally jealous, but the wonderful thing is, as South Africans, we can all do things like that, but we appreciate your input and what you did through the heritage experience.
What a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. Well, that was Nick from Hamman Time. And like I said, it's not something that only he can do. It's something that each of us South Africans can do. Experience the beauty of our beautiful country.